And we welcome you to Memorial Stadium in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania, as the Woodland Hills Wolverines take on the Canon-Mac Big Macs in a Southeast Conference matchup. Adam Gusky and Fred Guy on the call for you all across the Woodland Hills Football Network. Woodland Hills, the number 5 ranked team by MSA Sports, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review enter the game with a record of 4-2 overall, 4-1 in Southeastern Conference action. Meanwhile, the Canon-Mac Big Macs are 1-5 on the year, 1-4 in the SEC. Their lone victory came over the Plum Mustangs a couple of weeks back, 17-7. And this Canon-Mac team, Fred Guy, has been outscored this season 236-41.
Yeah, and Woodland Hills can't overlook that. I mean, that's a pivotal stat when you're looking over things. But Woodland Hills really needs to take every play, go play by play, and not overlook the fact that Canon-Mac is sporting just a 1-5 record right now.
Last week, Canon-Mac fell here at Memorial Stadium 49-7 to the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils, while the Wolverines were victorious 42-21 over the Baldwin Highlanders at the Wolverina.
They're lodged around their own 5-yard line.
I'd like to thank Errol Von Dane back at WZUM Studios for making sure we get on the air, even though we had some technical difficulties. So we thank you for joining us, no matter where you are, across the Woodland Hills Football Network. Woodland Hills will be kicking off left to right across your radio dial, internet browser, or television screen. Woodland Hills in their road white jerseys, black pants, going old school are the Wolverines, and they've got the pink accents. Along the near sideline are the Canon-Mac Big Macs. They wear their blue jerseys, gold pants, and the blue helmets with the gold CM emblazoned upon both sides. And we are underway in Canonsburg, PA. This kick will carry down to the 4-yard line along the far sideline, where it'll be returned by Canon-Mac. And the kick coverage team has been a bugaboo for the Wolverines, but not on that particular play, as Akira McLean makes the tackle on Tanner Pychinik, the return man, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Big Macs.
And that's the kind of confidence that the kick coverage team needs going into this game, because as we've seen over the past 6 weeks, Woodland Hills has gotten dusted in terms of kick return or kick coverage. And good job by the kick coverage team to pin them inside their own 20.
So 1st and 10 for the Big Macs. Wing formation, motion man from left to right. In that wing formation, the handoff will go straight up the middle instead. And the Wolverines make the stock.
The first man through takes the handoff.
After a pickup of about 4 yards, and then 2nd down and 6. Deshaun Osbrooks on the tackle for Woodland Hills.
And I thought that play was going to develop into a lot more yardage for Canon-Mac on that last play. But once the running back got to the second wave of linebackers, he got stuck. And then when he got stuck, he got driven back by 2 more Wolverine defenders.
Again, wings to either side, a lone setback in the backfield for Canon-Mac. 2nd down and 6. End around coming to the near side, and the Wolverines sniff that one out. The ball carrier this time is Connor Shadish, and Shadish is brought down 3 yards deep in the backfield, making 2 yards deep in the backfield, and it's 3rd down and 8. A loss of 2 for Shadish.
Anytime you're running a wing T offense with double wings and a single back, the most important players on your team this week are probably going to be your outside linebackers. They need to make sure that they're staying home, staying consistent, not letting people get outside of them to get some more yardage around the right or left side.
Pistol formation this time behind Jordan Smith. Smith drops back, looks across the middle. The pass intended for Michael Bolander, and it's incomplete, and that brings up 4th down and 10 for Canon-Mac. Coverage on the play for Wolverines. Jahad Brown.
And that was a good job of Canon-Mac of actually giving the quarterback some time to survey the field. Woodland Hills didn't bring any linebacker pressure or anybody off the edge that they normally would. But good job of Canon-Mac of giving the quarterback some time.
10.5 minutes to go. Clock stopped here in a scoreless first quarter. Art Tompkins to return the punt. As the Big Macs get it away. A knuckling punt that Tompkins will catch at his own 49-yard line, or rather at the Big Macs 49-yard line. He'll retreat, then step forward, and be forced out of bounds along the near boundary. Pickup of about 8 on the return. Tackle on the play by Tanner Pychinik. And it'll be first down and 10 for the Wolverines at the 41-yard line.
And we're going to see a lot of Art Tompkins in punt coverage, kickoff coverage today, assuming that, really assuming that Canon-Mac can get on the board. But Art Tompkins is going to be taking the place of Harry Randall, who is out for today's game with an injury.
High ankle sprain a week ago for Harry Randall, came late in the football game, so Jeremiah Jones will get his first career start. Jones in the pistol with Sanders behind him. He'll hand off to Miles Sanders. Sanders has a hole, and he will be spun down after a gain of about 1 to the 40-yard line. And it is second down and 9 for the Wolverines.
And Jones, you really have to expect a lot of first drive jitters with Jones, considering he's a sophomore. Hasn't seen a terrible amount of time, but has done a good job in the mop-up action that he's gotten so far this year.
A season ago, he saw a lot of action behind Cody McClellan as a freshman, and that's got to be very valuable for this young man in his first start. Second down and 9 for Woodland Hills. Ball at the Canon-Mac 40-yard line. Scoreless first quarter. Hard count. Handoff goes to Sanders on the counter. He'll spring his way forward through a hole, a pickup of 4 yards to the 36-yard line, and that'll bring up second down and 5.
And the one comforting thing that Jones needs to understand is he has Miles Sanders in his backfield. Almost 100 yards shy of 1,000 yards. He's done a great job all season. Having him back there along with Art Tompkins and Trayvon Mathis, and Chris David when he's on the outside, has got a lot of leadership and a lot of experience back there.
Miles Sanders coming into today, 869 yards. Pistol formation again with Sanders behind Jones, and Jones was off of play action, but flags come in before the snap, and we will check in with our officiating crew in just a moment. 9:01 to play here in the scoreless first quarter. And a false start against the Wolverines is going to push them back to the 41-yard line. Third down and 10 for the white and turquoise.
Be interested to see if Coach Novak decides to change the play up, considering when they snapped that ball, it looked like the entire offensive line were in a pass blocking motion. See if they might switch to a run to keep Canon-Mac off balance.
Twins to the far side left, Tompkins and David, one receiver to the near side right. Traditional shotgun formation, protectors to either side. Jones off of play action, steps up into the pocket. He will look down that far sideline. David in double coverage, leaps up, grabs a hold of the football, and runs into the end zone for a 41-yard Woodland Hills touchdown. The first touchdown pass of the season for Jeremiah Jones.
And guys, that has to give your young quarterback some confidence. He did a great job of just being patient and waiting for Chris David to get open, or as much as open as he possibly could, because he was covered by 2 Canon-Mac defenders. But Chris David made a great adjustment on that ball as it was in the air. Got himself to it, caught it at its highest point, brought it down inside the end zone for a touchdown.
8:38 to play here in the first quarter as Woodland Hills takes this 6-0 lead. Cassidy comes on to attempt the PAT. Chris David is the holder, as Harry Randall is out for today. Snap a little low, but David gets it down. The kick is up, and that kick is good. And with 8:38 to play in the first quarter, it's Woodland Hills 7 and Canon-Mac 0. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Big Macs on the Woodland Hills Football Network. And we welcome you back to Memorial Stadium in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania, as Woodland Hills has taken an early 7-0 lead on third down and 10 from the 41-yard line. Sophomore quarterback getting his first start. Jeremiah Jones dropped back off of play action, looked to his left, and lobbed a pass over 2 defenders for the Woodland Hills touchdown. And Chris David with the receiving touchdown. David had a huge game last week on defense, coming through offensively this time.
Yeah, you really couldn't ask for a better start for Woodland Hills in this game. Good kick coverage, got them pinned down inside their own 15. 3 and out on defense, and then come back to score a touchdown with a young quarterback on a nice throw. Great start for Woodland Hills right now.
Cassidy again will lob a kick to the far sideline. It'll take a Woodland Hills bounce, and the deep man for the Big Macs will slide on the football around the 20-yard line. And it'll be first down and 10 for Canon-Mac right at the 20. So the Big Macs came up empty on their first possession and had to punt it away, and the Wolverines took advantage. Let's see what the Big Macs can do here. Again, 8:37 to play here in this first quarter. Woodland Hills up 7-0. Adam Gusky, Fred Guy on the call for you. TV crew upstairs Radio crew back at WZUM Studios. Wing T formation. Motion man from left to right, and they'll go away from the motion. The ball carrier is Jules Dovick, and Dovick is brought down after a pickup of 1. And Godovic brought down. They're actually going to say a gain of about 2 after they spot the flag. No, it's going to be a gain of 1 to the 21. Flag moved around a bit. And Godovic, with the pickup of 1, makes it second down and 9.
And that play reminded me of the old Woodland Hills 57 counter. Basically just the wing guy coming right across the offensive line, taking the handoff and trying to turn it upfield. I remember Tom Wynn used to be very successful with that play back in the early 90s.
And in my day, that was Raymar Hester taking the slot reverse, or the slot counter, if you will. And off goes to Godovic, and he is brought down 2 yards deep in the backfield as Godovic, that time lined up as the tailback in the formation. Loss of 2, and it is third down and 11 for the Big Macs at their own 19.
And it looks like the offensive line and defensive line are pretty much the same. You have Will Clark out there, Solomon. You know, those guys are getting a lot of playing time on both sides of the ball.
Pistol formation as Smith is pressured, hit, wrapped, sacked, and brought down. Kyra McLean cleans it up after 2 Wolverines got there initially. Credit the initial hit to DeJean Brown, also in on the play. Jordan Lee. So a trio of Wolverines combine on the sack, and it is 4th down and very long for the Big Macs.
And I'm surprised that the quarterback didn't see number 19, Jacob Martin. He was standing wide open right by his own sideline. He just needed to toss it over to him, and he certainly would have picked up good yardage, but the pressure by the Woodland Hills defense, I guess, was a little bit too much for him.
And the Big Macs will boot it away to the far sideline. Tompkins bobbles it for a moment at the 46, picks it up. He eludes one Big Mac at that 41-yard line as he comes to the near side. He finds some room inside of the 40, the 35, the 30, still on his feet to the 25-yard line, and he will be brought down along this near boundary. They're going to say around the 23-yard line, and a great return for Art Tompkins of 23 yards gives Woodland Hills the ball deep inside of Big Mac territory.
Yeah, I thought Art was going to get to the wall. Fortunately for Canon-Mac, they were able to pin him in against the sideline, but he picked up some nice blocks as he went from the left side of the field to the right side of the field. You know, Art Tompkins' speed is very, very underestimated at this point.
Coach Novak says he may be faster than Sanders or Randall, which is pretty impressive. 1st and 10 for Woodland Hills at the Big Mac's 23-yard line. Handoff will go to Big Joel Shaw, and he will lean his way forward for a pickup of 2 yards, and it is second down and 8 for the Wolverines.
That is definitely a thing that the Big Macs do not want to see, is Joel Shaw getting rolling, running downhill, getting that speed going at 242 pounds. But actually on that last play, Canon-Mac did a good job of just beating up the offensive line of Woodland Hills and getting to Shaw before he can get that head of steam going.
2nd and 8 for Woodland Hills. Shotgun formation, sidecars to either side of Jones. Handoff goes to Miles Sanders, bouncing it to the outside. Along the near boundary, he'll bounce off of blue jerseys, and he'll be forced out of bounds. Gain of just about 1. And so far, Fred, it seems like Canon-Mac is sniffing out the Woodland Hills running attack.
Yeah, they're doing a great job against the run. I'm really impressed with you know, what they've been able to do of containing Sanders and not letting Joel Shaw get rolling. And you're really not going to see too much running out of Jeremiah Jones. He's not really he's pretty much a typical pocket passer, but he's got some jets. So, I mean, you know, what he really needs to do is, you know, channel his inner Harry Randall and, you know, keep these guys on their toes.
Shotgun formation, sidecar to the left of Jones. Tompkins will motion on the jet sweep. And Tompkins had his legs wrapped for a moment. He'll spring through a hole. And Art Tompkins into the end zone for the touchdown. Art Tompkins with strength, speed, and elusiveness for the 21-yard TD.
Yeah, that's an impressive run by Art Tompkins. Was really tackled in the backfield. The Canon-Mac defender had him by his ankles. He was able to get loose, found a cutback lane, and then once he got to the secondary, he pretty much just turned the safety around and was walking right into the end zone.
And that cutback was absolutely beautiful. I mean, he went left. He saw that there was a hole back to his right and burst through it, and that's where we saw the speed of Tompkins. High snap, but David gets it down, and It's booted away by Donald Cassidy, and with 5:34 to play in the first quarter, it's Woodland Hills 14 and Canon-Mac 0. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Big Macs on the Woodland Hills Football Network. 5:34 to play in the first quarter. Adam Gusky and Fred Guy on the call for you at Memorial Stadium in Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania. Woodland Hills scoring on a 21-yard touchdown run by Art Tompkins. He came in motion into the formation, Fred, ran to his left, eluded a Big Mac in the backfield, and then hit the cutback to his right, and off to the races he went for that 21-yard TD.
Yeah, Woodland Hills is really getting comfortable with that jet sweep play. They just bring Art Tompkins in motion, and just as the ball is snapped, it takes it out of the quarterback's hands. It just basically looks for a lane to get himself through. He found one after nearly escaping a tackle for loss, found a nice cutback lane, and found himself in the end zone.
Booted away by Donald Cassidy. He'll carry over the head of the return man, Tanner Pychinik, and he'll have to retreat into the end zone and down it back there, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Big Macs at their own 20 for the second consecutive drive. This ball, incidentally, Fred, has not left the Wolverine side of the field, or rather the Big Mac side of the field today.
And that just goes to show you what Woodland Hills is doing on defense on the first two drives. You know, a wing T, a winged offense is definitely hard because they throw so many different misdirections at you. They throw a lot of formations at you, a lot of motion, so there's some trickery in there. But Woodland Hills has done a great job of just sniffing out the running game for Canon-Mac.
Pistol formation. Smith looks to the near side left. The pass is complete. Jacob Martin on the reception. And Martin is brought down after a pickup of about 3 yards before Chris David makes the tackle for the Wolverines. 2nd down and 7 for the Big Macs.
And that was a great open field tackle by Chris David. I feel that, you know, Woodland Hills always gives the wide receivers a little bit too much cushion. Trayvon Mathis likes to play, you know, bump and run coverage, but sometimes I think they give them a little bit too much cushion, and that can hurt them, you know, at points in the game.
Wolverines have such closing speed. I guess that's what they rely on. A screen pass to the near sideline is incomplete as Smith was looking for Picnic out of the backfield. And Jordan Lee was on the coverage. The pass incomplete brings up 3rd down and 7.
A good job of the outside linebackers in the second and the cornerback of staying home and reading as that motion man. It looked like the motion man came, the motion man came across the field and just kept on going, and the quarterback tried to hit him in the flats, but there was nothing happening there.
Shotgun formation. Smith looks to his right, and the pass intended for Picnic, or rather for Martin, is incomplete, and Art Tompkins on the coverage. And the incomplete pass brings up 4th down and 7.
This is probably the first time that I've seen Woodland Hills on the first 3 drives really lock down an opponent's, you know, wide receiver core. These guys are all over the place, and they're doing a great job of just sticking with their man as they're coming out into the formation.
So Art Tompkins stands at his own 48-yard line to return the punt, and it's booted away by Jacob Martin. It'll take a Canon-Mac bounce, and it's picked up by Tompkins at the 36-yard line. He'll surge forward to the 46 for a return of 10. And it's 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. And Fred, for the first time today, the ball is inside of Woodland Hills territory.
I thought Art was really going to make a burst as he was coming towards midfield, but good job of Canon-Mac of, you know, breaking down and keeping Art in front of him and making a nice tackle.
5:07 to play here in the first quarter. It's Woodland Hills on top of Canon-Mac, 14-0. Wolverines starting again at their own 46. Wolverines out of the huddle. Lamont Baldwin Youngblood, the left tackle. The right tackle is Daniel Gibson. The center, Jimmy Rooney. Guards are usual starters as well. Pistol formation. Jones off of play action, rolls to his left. Steps up, he'll heave-ho it down the middle. It's caught by Joel Shaw, and Shaw rumbles his way forward to the 30-yard line where it's 1st and 10 for the Wolverines on a pickup of 24 yards.
Adam, I believe that is the first time this season that they ran the waggle. You had your tight end in formation, you had your fullback, and then your wide receivers basically clearing the lanes for those guys. But it was a good job, a good execution of Jeremiah Jones. I actually thought he was going to go to Mike Smith on that last play, but Jones thought that Shaw was a little bit more open and connected with him.
Trips to the right of the formation, pistol. Formation, handoff goes to Miles Sanders. He'll bounce it right, surges way forward down to the 15-yard line. Pickup of 5 from Miles Sanders. And Sanders 4 carries, 11 yards. A week ago, Miles Sanders had 247 yards. And there's a stoppage on the field as Daniel Gibson has an equipment issue. And that'll bring out Jake Cassidy, utility lineman for the Wolverines. Cassidy can play every position, all 5 across that front line. 2 receivers right, a near slot as well in Shaw. Jones in the pistol with Sanders behind him. Handoff, Sanders on the counter. Surges his way forward, still on his feet, inside of the 5, and into the end zone he will go for a 25-yard touchdown. Miles Sanders with his first touchdown of the evening.
Adam, I was just about to mention the patience that Miles Sanders has for only being a sophomore. He doesn't try to, overdo things, especially on that last play. Took the counter, waited for his blockers to develop, found himself a hole. And what Woodland Hills is doing is they're making the safeties for Canon-Mac look stupid because they get them turned around, and then once they turn around, they cut off their hip, and usually they're either laying on the ground or just missed a tackle for against Woodland Hills.
Cassidy's PAT is good, and with 4:04 to play in the first quarter, it's Woodland Hills 21 and Canon-Mac 0. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Big Macs on the Woodland Hills Football Network. And we welcome you back to Memorial Stadium in Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania. Adam Gusky, Fred Guy on the call for you. And the Wolverines touch the ball 3 times today, and 3 times they find the end zone. And this time it is Miles Sanders on a 25-yard touchdown run. A counter out of the pistol, and he burst through a hole and then cut back into the end zone. PAT by Cassidy up and in, made it 21-0.
Yeah, we knew it was only a matter of time before Miles Sanders would find himself into the end zone. But like I said, his patience is what's doing him such a great benefit right now. He's not, trying to make too much out of nothing. He's just taking what he's given, and when he gets it, he's rolling with it.
Donald Cassidy boots into this one, end over end kick down the left hash. It'll be returned by Picnic, and Picnic finds a hole for a moment, but he was tripped up in the open field by Deshaun Osbrooks. And it'll be first down and 10 for the Canon-Mac Big Macs around their own 28-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 for the for the gold and blue. And they'll officially spot the ball at the 28. 3:57 to go here in the first quarter. Woodland Hills on top, 21-0. Back to the traditional wing tee with receivers to either side as Smith steps under center. He'll send a man in motion in Picnic. He'll go away from the motion. No, Smith will keep it, run to the far sideline. Akira McLean read the play beautifully and caught Smith from behind, keeping it at a minimal gain. And how about Akira McLean not only reading the play, but the closing speed to make the tackle?
Yeah, the play was going away from him. He's the right outside linebacker. He just basically came across the line, read the quarterback, kept the ball, and just tracked him down before he was able to get to the sideline.
My eyes didn't deceive me, Fred. I think he was lined up at the left defensive end, saw the play go away. He spun his whole body around and tracked down Smith from behind to keep it at a 1-yard gain. Either way, great play by McLean. Wing tee again. Smith off of play action. He'll be hit, he'll be wrapped, and he will be sacked by Jordan Lee amongst others. And we'll credit Lee with leading the charge. Also in on the play, Laquan Bowden. And a loss of a lot of yards. In fact, a loss of nearly 10 on that play brings up third down and 12.
Yeah, on that last play, Logan Hyham was actually open. He had number 21, Mike Nash, turned around and was going the opposite direction. But a great job of Woodland Hills just bringing the outside linebackers, and then they always get a good push off the nose tackle and 2 defensive tackles. So Woodland Hills is doing a great job on defense of just putting the pressure where it needs to be.
Canon-Mac takes a timeout. We will too, with the score Woodland Hills 21 and Canon-Mac 0. You're tuning into the Wolverines and the Big Macs all across the Woodland Hills Football Network. 2:25 to play in the first quarter. It's Woodland Hills leading the Canon-Mac Big Macs 21-0. Adam Gusky and Fred Guy on the call for you. Long trip here and a lot of traffic to Cannonsburg, PA. Wolverines got here actually before us, and that is a rare occurrence that the team beats us as the television and radio crew. Twins to either side, pistol formation. Now they'll motion trips to the left of the formation. Smith, the southpaw, looks to his left-hand side, and the pass is completed to Jules Godovic, and Godovic is brought down along the near sideline, shy of the first down marker at the 36-yard line. But a nice pickup on that play of 16 yards, and it is fourth and pretty manageable for the Big Macs, but it looks like they have their punt unit out there. They may go for a pooch punt here as Smith will step back. And there was some movement. Looked like the left tackle moved early, didn't it, Fred? That was a 56, Alec Rideout with the false start.
Yeah, and on that last play, it looked like there might have been a little bit of a blown coverage, assignment issues from Woodland Hills on the defense.
That false start will push the Big Macs back 5 yards. And the Big Macs looked like they were going to go for the quick kick, pooch punt. But now they'll bring out their regular punt unit on a 4th and 7 with 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Oh, the official forgot to shut his mic off before blowing the whistle. That'll make everybody in Cannonsburg deaf.
Huh?
Exactly. Snap is low, and the Big Macs just get it away. Chris David will retreat, and David had put up his hand for the fair catch, maybe a little prematurely, because as he was retreating to catch that ball, there was a lot of room for him to run to that far sideline, but it'll be 1st and 10 for the Wolverines either way at their own 31-yard line with 1:37 to go. Canon-Mac not able to do very much offensively. In fact, I don't think they have a first down yet today.
With that punt landing in a little bit deeper in the Woodland Hills territory, see what Woodland Hills can do on a little bit of a longer field that they have been used to so far in this game.
It's a good test for Jeremiah Jones. Jones 2 for 2 today for 65 yards, and he has stood in there with the best of them. Shotgun sidecars to either side, handoff. Coming to the near side, it's Miles Sanders still on his feet, spinning his way forward. A flag comes in from a mile away as Miles Sanders still on his feet inside of Big Mac territory, and he'll be pounded around and brought down at the Canon-Mac 41-yard line. But an official along the near sideline threw a flag way back to the 31-yard line near the line of scrimmage. And we'll have to check this call, but it'll probably be against the Wolverines, pushing them back.
I think it might be holding on Joel Shaw.
So the holding call against the Wolverines is going to back them up 10 yards. They're going to say the infraction happened a yard deep in the backfield. It'll be 1st down and 21 for Woodland Hills back at the 20-yard line. That's a tough one as that wipes off a nice pickup for Miles Sanders. That would have been a gain of 28 yards. Clock winding down towards a minute to play here. In the first quarter, Woodland Hills on top, 21-0. Jones in the shotgun, sidecars to either side, Twins to the right as tight end to the left of the formation. Chris David, motion man from right to left. Handoff will go to Joel Shaw. He'll bounce off of one. Blue jersey still on his feet as he drives his way forward, dragging blue jerseys with him, and he'll finally be brought down at the 35-yard line. A 15-yard pickup for the big fullback. How about Joel Shaw just dragging Big Macs with him, Freddie?
Yeah, I think the nose guard for Canon-Mac is going to see number 16 in his nightmares tonight because he caught a face full of Joel Shaw as he got that ball. Good job with the nose tackle of shedding his block and making some contact, but you know, when you get that big body rolling, it's hard to bring him down.
It's hard to imagine he's only a sophomore. He'd be playing guard pretty much anywhere else, but at Woody High, he's a fullback. Tompkins will motion from left to right. In the shotgun formation is Jones. He'll look to his left, throw to his left. It's complete to Chris David. David catches the ball at the 40-yard line. He'll be driven back. And they'll say the forward progress just shy of the 40. So it'll be a pass of 4 yards from Jones to David. And that should be the last play of the first quarter, bringing up third down and a pretty short 2. And we will head into that second quarter. Woodland Hills on top of Canon-Mac, 21-0. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Big Macs on the Woodland Hills Football Network. 21-0, Woodland Hills on top of Canon-Mac as we're set to begin the second quarter here at Memorial Stadium in Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania. Adam Dusky and Fred Guy on the call for you all across the Woodland Hills Football Network, including our flagship radio station, AM 1550 WZUM, on the web at woodlandhillsfootballnetwork.com, where we have live audio and sometimes video streams of our games. And we also have our live radio broadcasts on the MSA Sports Network at msasports.net and our television affiliates. Monroeville Comcast Cable Channel 13, Penn Hills Comcast Cable Channel 98, Verizon Fios Channel 37, and of course our YouTube channel at WH Football Network. Again, 21-0 is the score, and I think the Wolverines wanted a timeout because they didn't get everything discussed that they wanted to on the quarter break, so I guess we'll take a timeout as well, Freddie. Burn through the breaks. 21-0 is the score. Woodland Hills on top of Canon-Mac. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Big Macs on the Woodland Hills Football Network. Wolverines straight to the line of scrimmage. After a short timeout, it's Miles Sanders bouncing to the outside, picks up a nice block by Art Tompkins, and there goes Miles Sanders off to the races, inside of the 40, the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20, cutting it back to the near side, and they're going to say Miles Sanders stepped on the sideline at the 28-yard line along that far boundary, and it would have been a beautiful touchdown. Instead, it's just a long run for Miles Sanders from his own 39 to the 28.
Yeah, it looked like as he was trying to cut that back into the field, apparently he stepped out of bounds. It was kind of hard to see from our vantage point, but just a great burst of speed by Miles Sanders of taking the ball, didn't find anything up the middle, bounced it outside, and once you get him outside, it's hard to track him down. Luckily for Canon-Mac, he fancifully stepped out of bounds.
33-yard run there for Miles Sanders. 69 yards on the ground today for Miles, the sophomore tailback, now over 900 yards in 7 games. Handoff goes to Joel Shaw. He'll spring his way through a hole, lower his head, and pick up the first down yardage as he's brought down at the 14-yard line, make it the 13-yard line. A pickup of 14 for Shaw, and it's 1st and 10 for Woodland Hills.
Well, I think the reason why he lowered his head because he was actually tripping over either his own feet or the 15-yard line, but either way, he's just doing a great job of just being patient as well, along with Miles Sanders, and finding holes and exploiting them when they're open.
Woodland Hills brings on the field goal unit. This will be a 30-yard field goal attempt on 1st down and 10 from the right hash. Cassidy out of the hold of David. The kick is up, and that kick is no good, wide left. And it will be Canon-Mac ball. And it'll be the Big Macs football from the line of scrimmage. And Fred, you know, we talk about this all the time. Coach Novak with big leads, especially in the first half when both teams have their first teams on. It's a great opportunity to bring on your kicker, attempt field goals in game situations. And a 30-yard field goal from the right hash for Donald Cassidy. Unfortunately, didn't come through there, but that gives him experience down the road. And when the WPIAL playoffs come, that becomes even more important. We saw that a season ago with the big field goal from Jordan Potter against Gateway.
Yeah, I mean, anytime that you can get your special teams on the field, especially in game situations, is always a good thing. Also, Coach Novak being the sportsman that he is, he really doesn't like to run up scores on his opponents. Things happen, things get to that point. But Woodland Hills just especially with that 30-yard field goal, it being missed, you know, those are things that you need to work on in game situations, like you said.
So the ball actually will be placed at the 20-yard line, and a timeout is called, and we'll take a break as well. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Big Macs with the score Woodland Hills 21 and Canon-Mac 0 on the Woodland Hills Football Network. 21-0 Woodland Hills on top of the Canon-Mac Big Macs. 11:36 to play in the second quarter. Canon-Mac with the football at their own 20-yard line, first down and 10 after a missed field goal by Donald Cassidy. Snap high, though, goes through the hands of Smith, and the Wolverines will recover that football. Diving on the errant shotgun snap, Devin Nixon, and the Wolverines will have the ball first and 10 at the Canon-Mac 11-yard line.
I was actually looking to see if they were bringing the field goal unit back on, which they are.
Well, let's see what Donald Cassidy can do here, as this will be a 28-yard field goal, 28-yard field goal attempt. More from the center of the field. Chris David not running out there. Looks like Art Tompkins is going to be the holder this time. Low snap. Decent hold by Tompkins, and that end over and kick will carry to the right. No good. And I think the Wolverines may have been well served to use their final timeout on that one, Fred.
Yeah,
Coach, they certainly didn't have the right formation and personnel out there.
Yeah, Coach Novak doesn't like to keep them, so he might as well have burned that last one. You know, as I was looking at Art Tompkins, it looked like he was even set up wrong. His inside leg was up, which, you know, that's never a good thing. It just didn't seem like he was comfortable, you know, even taking the snap. So
another missed field goal gives Canon-Mac the ball again at their 20-yard line. With 11:26 to play in the first half. Smith off of play action, looks to the near side right. A wounded duck will run to the near side out of bounds. The pass intended for Godovic on the coverage for Woodland Hills. Mike Nash. Nash, who had an interception a week ago, and more importantly, a spectacular return on the coverage that time for the white and turquoise.
Yeah, I think Godovic just rushed through his motion on that last throw. Like you said, a wounded duck. Surprised there wasn't any hunters out here taking shots at that.
Pistol formation. Smith will send a man in motion to put trips to the left of the formation. Option to the near side right. Big hole here. The ball carrier Picnic will be met after picking up first down yardage. Tackled by Art Tompkins, but a pickup of 12 yards gives Canon-Mac first down yardage at the 32.
Yeah, good job of Canon-Mac of just, you know, going through different plays, not staying to their bread and butter, wing tee. They've gone into the pistol, giving Woodland Hills a little bit more of a look and confusing them a little bit right now.
So Picnic on that carry. Pickup of 12. They'll run the option again. Picnic to the far side. No room this time as the Wolverines sniffed it out. Gibson had the QB, and two Wolverines had the pitch man. And making the tackle, Jordan Lee and Jihad Brown. Loss on that play of 6 yards, and it's second down and 16.
I wonder if George Smith came to the sideline and asked the coach to run a different play, because the last two times he's run the option, he's taking an absolute beating from these Woodland Hills defenders.
So after picking up 12 yards on his first carry, Picnic loses 6, so has a total of 6 yards. Pistol formation. Smith looking to his left, throwing to his left. Nearly intercepted by Trayvon Mathis as the pass was intended for Logan Higgum. And that brings up third down and 16.
And Canon-Mac's not actually running bad routes. You know, just Jordan Smith's not really giving, you know, his receivers a chance to catch the ball. He's finding the receivers that are one-on-one, and that was a little bit of a mismatch in terms of size against Trayvon Mathis. But like you said, Jordan Smith just is not giving these guys a chance to catch the ball.
Trips to the right of the formation. Smith in the pistol. Snap a little high. He'll gather it in. Feels pressure. He's going to take off running. Jordan Smith picking up positive yardage. Hit hard by Art Tompkins at the 32-yard line. Smith will pick up 5 yards there. And it's 4th down and 11 for the Big Macs. And the punt unit will come on for Canon-Mac.
And Jordan Smith took a helmet right to the legs by Art Tompkins, and I know that can't feel nice at all.
Jacob Martin, senior punter.
Jake Martin in punt formation.
We've seen a good bit of action thus far this evening.
Art Tompkins deep.
And flags fly. And I came from side judge along the near sideline.
Dead ball. Illegal procedure.
So it's a procedural penalty against Canon-Mac that will push them back 5 yards.
Still 4th down.
Why'd they move the ball this way?
I don't know. That's a good question.
They said illegal procedure against Canon-Mac, and they moved the ball 5 yards this way. Okay. Wow. Either way, punt unit stays on. Art Tompkins back to return. Martin takes forever to boot it away, finally does. Spiraling kick. Tompkins runs it down at his own 18-yard line. Tompkins finding some room. Tripped up, though, at the 20-yard line, lost the football. And there is a mass of humanity for it back at the 19-yard line. And it's Woodland Hills football as there's a white jersey at the bottom of the pile. On the recovery for Woodland Hills, Jahan Brown. And it's 1st and 10 for the Wolverines at their own 19.
Yeah, I really thought I was kind of surprised that they called that a fumble because Art Tompkins was actually tripped up as he was trying to get some more yardage, and as we know, the ground can't cause a fumble,
especially in the high school game, because once you're down, you're down. In the pro game, if you're not touched and you go down, the ground can cause a fumble, but that's not true in college or in high school. 9:09 to play in the second quarter. Woodland Hills on top 21-0. Handoff goes to Joel Shaw. Shaw long striding his way to the 25-yard line. We'll say he's down at the 24, pickup of 4, and it's 2nd down and 6.
I think with the score being the way it is, we're probably going to see a heavy dose of Joel Shaw and Miles Sanders on this drive. I'd like to see Jeremiah Jones get some more passing attempts just to get him comfortable back there in case something happens, to Harry Randall in the playoffs, then he needs to step in and make some plays.
You have to consider Randall has an injured knee from a season ago to go along with a high ankle sprain from last week. And, with Jeremiah Jones being penciled in as the starter of the future, giving him valuable reps is very important. Handoff on the counter goes to Miles Sanders. 1st down yardage and more as he will lean his way over the 30-yard line to the 31. 8:20 to play as the clock stops on the 1st down. A pickup of 6 for Miles Sanders. Sanders with 75 yards on the evening. 7 carries, 75 yards. So just over 10 yards per carry for the sophomore tailback. And Miles Sanders approaching 950 yards on the season, and we are in the midst of the Week 7 football game. Handoff to Joel Shaw, bursting his way forward, rumbling to the 45-yard line. A pickup on that play of 14 yards.
He's starting to get good momentum coming through the offensive line. Joel Shaw is just a really big guy that knows how to run the ball. And that's a good thing for Coach Novak going into the future, especially with Miles Sanders. You can run a little thunder and lightning with those two, but they're just doing a great job. And Joel Shaw is just, he's being patient. He's not trying to break it to the outside to get more yards. He's just inviting contact and doing a good job of actually holding on to the ball as well.
Pistol formation, play action. Jones pressure to lose that pressure, runs to the far sideline. He'll come to the near side now. 1st down yardage and more. There goes Jeremiah Jones, still on his feet, spun down inside of the 35 to the 34-yard line. And Jeremiah Jones' elusiveness gives the Wolverines a nice 1st down.
Yeah, that was a good job of being alert as he saw nothing down the field. He went through his progressions. There was nothing, no one open, so he just decided to take the ball and run. I mean, that's all you can really do at this point with nobody open downfield. And he did a great job of making people miss, running around some people, and got a good first down.
21-yard pickup for Jeremiah Jones, and it's 21-0. Woodland Hills on top. Canon-Mac takes a timeout. We will too. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Big Macs on MSA Sports and the Woodland Hills Football Network. 7:41 to play in the second quarter. Adam Gusky, Fred Guy on the call for you. Woodland Hills on top of Canon-Mac, 21-0. The Wolverines inside of Big Mac territory again, 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. 21-yard pickup for Jeremiah Jones on his first rush of the game. 3 receivers to the left of the formation. Jones in the pistol with Sanders behind him. Sanders will take the handoff straight up the middle. He'll burst through a hole, pick up first down yardage and more to the 20-yard line. A pickup of 14 for Miles Sanders.
And right now, Woodland Hills offensively is basically doing anything that they want. But they're keeping it actually in between the tackles for the most part. Their offensive line has just done a great job all season long of opening holes for the running backs, keeping people off of the quarterbacks in terms of Harry Randall and Jeremiah Jones. Kudos to them. They're just doing a great job today.
And when Jones did feel pressure, he took advantage, burst away, and picked up positive yardage. Shotgun with sidecars to either side. Handoff to Shaw. Shaw will lower his shoulders, drive his way forward. A pickup of 2 where there was not much to be found. And Joel Shaw makes it 2nd down and 8.
And if Canon-Mac's going to be effective, going into the second half of this game, they're going to have to neutralize their run, especially in between the tackles.
Fred, we talk about the thunder and lightning combination of Sanders and Shaw, and it is really remarkable that both of these young men are just sophomores.
Actually, everybody in that backfield seems to be a sophomore right now.
That's right, because Jeremiah Jones is a sophomore, and Art Tompkins, who's been out on the field a lot today, is a junior. Shaw will crab to his left, handoff to Sanders. He will step his way forward, and he'll be brought down maybe a yard deep in the backfield. First loss of the day for the Wolverines offensively. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 9. Sanders with 88 yards on the ground this evening.
It looks like Canon-Mac actually had a run blitz on that last play because they saw that it was a run, and then everybody started coming. Linebackers, safeties, defensive line. They just did a great job of shutting that down.
So 3rd and 9 for the Wolverines. The ball at the 19-yard line. Jones in the shotgun, sidecars to either side. Handoff. Sanders finds a hole, leans his way forward, close to 1st down yardage as he's inside the 15 to the 12-yard line. Line to gain was the 10, though, and it's 4th down and 2. And decision time for Woodland Hills head coach George Novak. Looks like he's going to keep the offense on. Miles Sanders, 96 yards thus far here in the first half.
It just seems to do a good job every week of, like I said, being patient. His patience is pretty much his biggest key right now because he's not trying to overdo things and make mistakes.
Tompkins motions from right to left. Jeremiah Jones is going to keep it. Escapes one Big Mac, but cannot escape the second wave of tacklers. And Jones brought down in the backfield by Alec Rideout. And a loss on that play of 6 yards brings up 1st down and 10 for the Big Macs.
And give some kudos to the Canon-Mac defense on that last play. It wasn't like they had – it's not like Woodland Hills has their second-team offense in there. Those are first-teamers. Despite Jeremiah Jones being, a sophomore quarterback, he's done a great job so far. But, Canon-Mac stepped up, especially in their own red zone.
Smith will step under center, wing T behind him, receivers to either side. He'll send a man in motion, and they'll hand off to Godovic, and Godovic drives his way forward across the 20 to the 21-yard line, a pickup of 2, and it is 2nd down and 8.
And we also really need to give a lot of credit to this Woodland Hills defense because they've done a great job against Canon-Mac's offense, being the wing T, throwing a lot of misdirection, a lot of motion. They've just done a great job, especially bringing pressure on the quarterback. That's been their biggest thing over the past 2 or 3 weeks is they're able to get to the quarterback at pretty much any time.
Canon-Mac with 17 yards of total offense by my tally going into that last play. Ball carrier, Hayden
Sell
Sell.
on the carry.
And Sell will drive his way forward to the 25-yard line, bringing up third down and 3 before Jahad Brown makes the tackle.
Looks like Canon-Mac might actually have a new quarterback in there.
And I think you are correct. That looks like Alec Hutchin, 5'9" senior. And Hutchin will hand off. The ball carrier Hayden Sell drives his way forward, close to first down yardage before he is brought down. Attack on the play, Diamond Johnson.
Diamond Johnson, Laquan Bolton.
Let's see. The officials say it's first down, a pickup of 3 to the 28.
A first down for the Big Mac.
And Canon-Mac, incidentally, with these last 2 carries by Sell, now in positive yardage rushing. Before Sell's last 2 carries, they had -2 in the rushing category. Now they have 5 total yards rushing with 3:23 to play in the second quarter. Hutchin in the pistol with a modified wing tee. Pass to the near side, nearly intercepted by Mike Nash. Nash stepping in front of Jacob Martin, had his hands on the football, but the incomplete pass brings up second down and 10.
Yeah, I think Canon-Mac's probably going to be better served going with Alec Hutchin throughout the course of this game. And he's a 5'9" senior, a little bit short by quarterback standards, but from what I've seen, he delivers a really nice football.
Well, that looked significantly better than what we saw from Jordan Smith in the early going. Second down and 10 now for the Big Macs. Pistol formation again with a wing tee. Pistol tee. Not often you'll see some setup like that. And the quarterback is pressured. Hutchin running to the near side. Eludes one Wolverine, but is brought down by a Kyra McLean inside of the 20 at the 19-yard line. And a loss on that play of 8 yards to the 20 brings up third and long, third down and 18.
Yeah, I thought Hutchin thought he was going to dismiss McLean a little bit too easily, but that's kind of hard to do. Karen McLean, when he smells quarterback, when he sees blood in the water, he gets after it as fast as possible.
Kyra McLean made his presence known halfway through last season and was a beast by the end of the playoffs. 2.5 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Woodland Hills on top, 21-0. Hutchin steps under center. Off of play action. Throwback screen, and we're going to say it's a lateral pass completed to Jules Godovic, and Godovic is retreating all the way back to the 2-yard line. And Fred, from our vantage point, it certainly looked like Alec Hutchin had thrown a forward pass to Jules Godovic, but instead they'll say it's a lateral, and Godovic will be credited, unfortunately, with a loss all the way back to the 2-yard line, a loss of 16 on that running play.
Yeah, it looked like when Alec Hutchin rolled to his right, I guess he must have came forward a little bit, because when he turned around to throw the ball back, the referees called it a lateral. And, it's a smart thing by Godovic that he got on top of the ball before, any Wolverines could get to him.
17-yard loss on the play, and Martin will punt it away. Punt through the hands of Art Tompkins. He'll bobble it and then pick it up. Slides through tacklers, and Art Tompkins was going to be off to the races. A quick whistle by the officials. Give the Canon-Mac Big Macs a big break. So it'll be first and 10 for the Wolverines at the 44-yard line with 1:24 to play in the second quarter.
I wasn't sure why the referees blew the whistle. And I know he called for a fair catch, but I wasn't sure if because he bobbled the ball, he was now eligible to pick the ball up and run with it.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what the reason was, but either way, it's a punt for the Big Macs, giving Woodland Hills the ball at the 44-yard line of Canon-Mac. And another drive for the Wolverines starting inside of Big Mac territory. Jones in the pistol. Play action. Jeremiah runs to his right, throws to his right. Tompkins is open. Slips through a double team and is brought down inside of the 25-yard line. A pickup of 19 as Jones finds Tompkins.
It looks like Woodland Hills is going to run a little bit of 2-minute offense right now, and that's something that they really need to work on, considering the first 2 games against McKeesport and Upper St. Clair, their 2-minute offense was a disaster.
So a 19-yard pickup there, and Jeremiah Jones still perfect in the air until he clocks that one, the first incompletion. of the evening for Jeremiah Jones, and he'll run to the far sideline to talk with Coach Novak.
2nd down and 10.
Before that spike of the football, which is an incomplete pass, Jeremiah Jones was 4 of 4 for 88 yards.
Yeah, he's just done a great job of just seeking out. I mean, he's a pure pocket passer. He can survey. He knows how to run through his progressions and delivers a really nice football, especially to Art Tompkins on that 15-yard out.
Jones, shotgun formation, trips to the left. Personal protector to his left is Joel Shaw. And Jones will throw the ball to his right-hand side. Catching the pass is Isaiah Brooks, and Brooks will step out of bounds inside of the 20 at the 19, make it the 18-yard line, a pickup of 7 as Jones finds Brooks.
And that was a great job of Brooks of actually turning around just in the nick of time, because Jeremiah Jones threw an absolute bullet to Brooks.
95 yards in the air for Jeremiah Jones. 3rd down and 3 as Jones throws it. Again, complete. No, it's incomplete. Pass in and out of the hands of Isaiah Brooks. Looks like Brooks had caught it initially and then fumbled, but fortunately for the Wolverines, instead the incomplete pass brings up 4th down and 3.
Yeah, that was a great job of cornerback for Canon-Mac, Anthony Camp, to break up that play, because if he didn't, not to say that Brooks would have gotten in the end zone, but that would have been a nice catch by Brooks and got him down close or inside the 5-yard line.
So the first incomplete forward pass of the game for Jeremiah Jones is a drop. So Jones is doing his thing out there with 35 seconds to play. Jones looks to his left, throws it complete to Miles Sanders. Sanders bounced around, and he will finally be brought down in the backfield. His forward progress got to the 20-yard line, and a flag is down, and I'm not sure if a Big Mac grabbed the face mask.
I think it's going to be an illegal block in the back by Art Tompkins on that last play.
And I saw the officials look to the near sideline.
Holding, offense.
Well, it's an illegal block against Woodland Hills, and a turnover on downs for the Wolverines. So that pass completion to Miles Sanders, his first catch of the game. And he was brought down at the 20-yard line, so a loss on that play of about 2 yards.
Speaking of Art Tompkins, I just got a text message. It's unconfirmed, but it looks like Toledo has actually offered Art Tompkins a scholarship to play football there.
And he's just
years.
a junior.
Yeah.
Pistol formation. Quarterback is Hutchin. Out of the wing tee, he'll look to his right. Wounded duck. Nearly intercepted by Mike Nash as Anthony Camp had to turn into a D-back and knock that football away from Mike Nash, and it's 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, Woodland Hills is just doing a good job, especially on the corners and against the wide receivers for Canon-Mac. Even though the quarterbacks for Canon-Mac really aren't giving their receivers that much to work with, the cornerbacks are just shutting them down right now. Wounded ducks, nice passes, they're just batting everything away, and fortunately for Canon-Mac, Camp just made a great play to bat that ball to the turf.
Pistol formation. Hutchin sends a man in motion, trips to the right of the formation now. Hutchin running to the near sideline. He'll be wrapped and he will be sacked. Brought down from behind. On the pressure and on the sack is Akira McLean. And a short loss brings up 3rd down and 10, and that will be the final play of the first half. We will go into the locker room with this score. Woodland Hills 21 and the Canon-Mac Big Mac 0. Fred, a great first half for the Wolverines.
Yeah, they're just doing a good job in all facets of the game. What's really impressive is their kick coverage. They've been really good, consistent of keeping and pinning Canon-Mac deep in their own territory. Offensively, they're just doing a good job of mixing in the run and the pass, getting Jeremiah Jones some valuable experience going into this game and going through the rest of the season.
Folks, on the television side, we'll be right back with the second half. On the radio side, we'll be back with the Woodland Hills Football Network halftime show. Again, your halftime score 21-0 Woodland Hills on top of Canon-McMillan. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Big Macs on the Woodland Hills Football Network. And we welcome you back to Memorial Stadium in Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania. Adam Gusky and Fred Guy on the call for you all across the Woodland Hills Football Network. Your halftime score, Woodland Hills 21, Canon-Mac 0. Some impressive first half numbers for the Woodland Hills Wolverines. 184 yards on the ground, 93 yards in the air. Meanwhile, they have held Canon-Mac to a total of -1 yard of offense.
Yeah, like I said before, the defensive coaches have to be excited with the outcome that the defense has performed or has done so far today. They've performed admirably, holding the passing game of Canon-Mac in check. The running game has really been in check. They just need to continue this. They need to continue that effort in the second half, even though as we've seen a lot of games at this point, they're going to bring in some subs. They're going to bring in some younger guys, inexperienced guys, but those guys want to preserve a shutout just as the first team does.
Leading the way for the Wolverines, Miles Sanders, 10 carries, 96 yards, and a touchdown. We also see Jeremiah Jones, the second quarterback on the depth chart, but the starter today, 6 of 8 in the air for 93 yards and a touchdown. He also has a pair of carries for 15 yards. Joel Shaw also chipping in on the stat sheets, a half a dozen carries for 52 yards. And Art Tompkins, a 21-yard touchdown run to go along with a 19-yard reception. Canon-Mac kicking off to begin the second half, left to right across your radio dial, internet browser, or television screen. We thank you for joining us all across the Woodland Hills Football Network. Adam Gusky and Fred Guy here in Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania. Garrett Von Dane at WZUM Studios. And the Big Macs go for the surprise onside, and they will come up with the football at the Woodland Hills 48-yard line. Jumping on top of that football for the Big Macs is Alec Reynolds. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Canon-Mac. So the Wolverines will not get the ball to begin the second half.
And that was something that Woodland Hills was certainly not expecting. Canon-Mac hasn't really done anything in terms of trickeration from their special teams until now, but it was a great time for it, which, gives them good field position, sets them up on the Woodland Hills half of the field.
11:58 to go in the third quarter, as the Big Macs send the offense out on the field, and they're going to run the Wildcat as the ball carrier is the quarterback, Picnic, and Picnic is brought down as he carries the ball inside of the 45 to the 44-yard line. A pickup of 4 for Picnic. And Picnic with 10 yards rushing this evening.
Good job of Canon-Mac of coming out with some determination in the second half. It just doesn't seem like they're going to just lay over and die. They're going to give Woodland Hills a fight to the end.
Pistol formation, Picnic. Snap, goes awry. It's loose on the ground. The Wolverines pick it up. Down that far sideline is Dejon Brown with the football at the 50-yard line. So the Big Macs had the ball inside of Woodland Hills territory for the first time this evening, and a bad snap and a collision. The Wolverines pick it up, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Wolverines at the midfield stripe.
That's one of the bigger problems with the Wildcat offense. When you get a person who's normally not used to handling snaps from center or a shotgun exchange, things could go awry. And unfortunately for Canon-Mac, they did. Woodland Hills did a great job of sniffing that out, picking up the loose ball and getting a couple yards after the fumble recovery.
Wolverines out in huddle, shotgun formation, 2 receivers left. Snap a little low, handoff goes to Miles Sanders on the counter. Bounce it to the far side, still on his feet as he's brought down after a pickup of 9 yards to the 41-yard line.
Yeah, great job of Miles Sanders again, following Amon Baldwin Youngblood as he was pulling from his left tackle position, and just followed him. Just kept his hand on his back, and then once he engaged the tackler, just sprung off his hip and got himself actually a first down on that play.
Initially was spotted as a 9-yard gain. They'll make it a 10-yard pickup. 106 yards on the ground for Miles Sanders this evening. Motion man from right to left is Tompkins. A motion to the left of the formation. Hand off to Joel Shaw. He'll be met in the backfield, drives his way forward, and he is brought down just shy of the line of scrimmage. And a rare loss for Joel Shaw of 1. Miles Sanders, 106 yards. He now has 975 yards on the season, and we have only played 6.5 games this year.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show you it's a good mix of everything that Woodland Hills is doing on offense. The offensive line is playing well. Miles Sanders is just doing a great job of being the guy that they need him to be right now.
Jeremiah Jones retreats, throws it across the middle. The pass will be intercepted by the Canon-Mac Big Macs, but now there's a fight for the football as Chris David's trying to rip it away from a Canon-Mac Big Mac. And on the interception is Dylan Zakowski. And it will be 1st and 10 for Canon-Mac. The ball at their own 35. So the Big Macs turn it over, then the Wolverines give it right back.
Well, Jeremiah Jones did, he made the cardinal sin of any quarterback is trying to throw back across the field after you rolled out to a certain way. Jeremiah Jones rolled out to his right, didn't see anything in front of him, so he decided to throw the ball back across the field. And, fortunately for Canon-Mac, they were able to get the interception on that play.
So 1st and 10 for the Big Macs, the ball at their own 35-yard line. The quarterback this time is Hutchin, and Hutchin is brought down in the backfield. Sack on the play, this time by Wilford Clark. Clark, the sophomore two-way lineman.
That's a great job of Wilford Clark. And actually, Deshaun Osbrooks also came in on a blitz. They put a lot of pressure on Hutchin in that last play to get him rattled. And then once, Wilford Clark got two hands on you, it's kind of hard to get away from him.
Loss of about 7 on the play, 2nd down and 17 with the ball back near the 28-yard line. Hutchin in the pistol. 2 receivers to either side. Motion man from left to right. Hutchin looks to this near side right. The pass is complete on the reception. Picnic, and Picnic is undercut by Trayvon Mathis. Pick up on the play of about 4 yards to the 31. And it's 3rd down and 14.
Excellent open field tackle by Trayvon Mathis. Nothing that we're not used to with him. He just did away with the wide receiver that he was covering once he saw that ball was going to the running back and made an excellent open field tackle.
Hutchin pressured. Steps to his left. He'll be hit. He'll be wrapped, and he will be brought down by a trio of Wolverines: Dejon Brown, Deshaun Osbrooks, and Jordan Lee on the sack.
Yeah, they basically had a meeting in the backfield. Those are actually 3 linebackers, two middle linebackers and an outside linebacker. Just brought a lot of pressure on that last play, and that's the things Woodland Hills has just continued to do throughout the course of, with the exception of the first 2 games. They've just brought a lot of pressure from the linebackers and defensive ends.
Loss of 2 on the play. Punt unit comes on for the Big Macs. A lot of work tonight for Jacob Martin as he boots this one away. It'll carry down to the 35 where the Wolverines will have the return. It's Art Tompkins on the return to the Canon-Mac 45-yard line where it'll be 1st down and 10. Well, the Big Mac's not able to take advantage of the interception thrown by Jeremiah Jones. And it will be Wolverine ball at the Canon-Mac 45.
It's very rare that you have 3 turnovers on 3 consecutive possessions and not yield any results.
I guess technically the onside kick is virtually a turnover. 7:32 to play here. Woodland Hills on top. 21-0 here in the 3rd quarter. Jeremiah Jones rolling to his right, sees an open receiver and Chris Wilson across the middle, but the pass low, and the incomplete pass brings up 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, on that last play, you can really tell the difference between Harry Randall and Jeremiah Jones. Jeremiah Jones likes to throw the ball. If he feels any pressure, he'll try to release it as fast as he can. We're used to seeing Harry Randall. Once he sees pressure, boom, he takes off and runs with the ball, which has boded well for him, this season. But Jeremiah Jones needs to channel that a little bit more going on the rest of the season, so he doesn't make mistakes like he did with that with his only interception.
Pistol formation. Jones off of play action. Steps forward, throws the pass complete to Mike Smith, the tight end. 1st down yardage and more to the 31-yard line.
And as I noticed that last play, Adam, it's a little bit of a twist to the waggle because typically You take the ball from the center and then roll right out to whichever side that you're going to run the waggle to. What Jones is doing is he's doing a reverse pivot, starting out, turning to his left and then ending up on his right with the waggle, which you have your tight end and your fullback in the formation.
Jeremiah Jones now with 105 yards passing, handoff. Miles Sanders dancing his way forward, still on his feet as he picks up a first down, a pickup of 11 for Miles Sanders. And Miles Sanders methodically getting closer to that 1,000-yard mark. Miles now with 117 yards.
And he got up with a little hitch in his giddy up. Not sure what happened at the end of that play. It looked like he might have came down a little awkward on his ankle, but Miles Sanders just did a great job on that last play. Again, following Amon Baldwin Youngblood as he comes across, pulling from left to right, and just leaving bodies in his way because he was just dancing over, around, and through people.
Nigel Henderson comes in for Sanders. Shotgun formation, sign cars to either side. Henderson takes the carry, and he will be met at the line of scrimmage and driven back.
Nigel Henderson.
No gain on the play, brings up second down and 10.
And we've seen Nigel Henderson do some great things with the football this season as well. So it's not like Woodland Hills are hurting at running backs at any point. If one goes down, another one's ready to take his place.
So a loss of about a half a yard, so it'll be second down and a long 10, a short 11. Wolverines break the huddle. Jimmy Rooney steps over the football. Sophomore quarterback Jeremiah Jones with the sidecar to his left, two receivers left, two to the right as well. Jones sends Tompkins in motion from right to left. Tompkins will take the handoff on the jet sweep. Trying to bounce it to the outside, and he will lose the football. It's picked up by the Canon-Mac Big Macs. Running with the football, Alec Hutchin. He'll be caught from behind by Isaiah Brooks. But a fumble by Art Tompkins gives Canon-Mac some more life as it'll be first and 10 for the Canon-Mac Big Macs at their Woodland Hills 46.
And this is certainly a tale of two halves with this Woodland Hills football team. First half looked fantastic, crisp, did everything right. This time, the second half, the offense is a little bit sloppy with some turnovers. I believe that's the second time Art Tompkins has lost the ball. This one resulting in a turnover for Woodland Hills.
Yeah, Tompkins had a fumble on a punt return that was recovered by the Wolverines. This time the first fumble lost of the game. And it was recovered, as I said, by Alec Hutchin and returned all the way to the Canon-Mac 46-yard line. Double reverse. Anthony Camp running to the left in the open field. He'll be met after picking up a yard. Trayvon Mathis not only wasn't faked out, he made a beautiful open field tackle, kept it at a gain of 1 for the Big Macs on the reverse.
And that was a perfect tackle because he didn't use his head. He had it around, and then he hit through Anthony Camp on that last play. I thought that play was going to be at least for 10, 15 yards, but Trayvon Mathis shut that down very quickly.
So the fumble by Tompkins and then the recovery, as we said, by Hutchin. And now the ball carrier for the Big Macs is Tanner Picnic, and Picnic is brought down after he picks up a yard to the 44-yard line, just inside the 45 actually. So no gain on the play, and it'll be third down and 9. James Eggleston on the tackle for the Wolverines.
And basically, James Eggleston just grabbed him out of midair and threw him to the ground. I mean, he was running past Eggleston. Eggleston was engaged with the blocker. He just took one hand, grabbed a hold of his jersey, and then went down the ball carrier.
Shotgun formation. Jones looks to the near side left. The pass intended for Anthony Camp is incomplete. Excuse me, that was Jordan Smith, not Jones. Smith, who started the game, came in for the first time in a while at the quarterback spot there, and that incomplete pass brings up fourth down and 9.
And that's probably the third or fourth duck thrown by Jordan Smith. I think he's just not getting his feet set and going through a proper motion as he's releasing that ball because it just seems like he's trying to do it too fast, and his mechanics are terrible right now.
Pistol formation, 4th and 9 for the Big Macs. They'll motion 3 men to the right of the formation. Smith looking to the right and had a open receiver in Tanner Picnic, and Picnic had the ball in his hands, couldn't hang on to it, and the drop gives Woodland Hills the ball, first down and 10 at their own 45-yard line. And Fred, for the second time, Canon-Mac not able to take advantage of a Woodland Hills giveaway.
Yeah, they actually had every opportunity too, because they flooded the right side of the field with wide receivers, and Woodland Hills did a bad job of rotating their defensive backs to get themselves in the position that they needed to do to cover these receivers. If that ball would have been on the mark, it certainly would have been a first down for Canon-McMillan.
4:37 to go in the third quarter. Woodland Hills on top 21-0 in a sloppy first 7 minutes of action. Handoff will go to Nigel Henderson straight up the middle. He'll pick up 5 yards to the 50-yard line. We may not see much of Miles Sanders. As you said, Fred, he got up a little bit lame on his last carry of 11 yards. And now we see Nigel Henderson starting this drive. Henderson 2 carries, 5 yards today.
And that was actually an impressive 5-yard run by Nigel Henderson, because it wasn't like he was dancing or shifting. He just took that ball and just ran straight up the field, full blast, against this Canon-Mac front three, and was able to pick up a nice 5-yard gain.
Pistol formation. Jones throws near side. Tompkins leaps up, grabs a hold inside of the 40, still on his feet, 35-30, 25, and spun down at the 24-yard line. And Art Tompkins showing a lot today. Made a mistake, but made up for it there.
Yeah, and that was an impressive catch by Art Tompkins, because he got up at least a foot, maybe a foot and a half off the ground to go and get that ball. It was a nice strike by Jeremiah Jones, but the impressive part was the catch by Art Tompkins. And once he got his feet to the turf, turned on the Jets, broke a tackle, made a nice run after the catch.
27-yard pickup for Tompkins. Pistol formation again. Henderson takes the handoff, has a hole momentarily, and he'll be driven back after picking up about a yard to the 22-yard line.
Shane Daniel and Dylan
3 carries for 6 yards today for Nigel Henderson.
2nd down and 9.
Jeremiah Jones getting the call from the sideline along that far boundary. 3 minutes and counting to go here in the third quarter. Woodland Hills on top 21-0, but the Wolverines now driving down towards the Canon-Mac red zone. Receivers to either side and a slot to the right of the formation. Pistol formation. Jones off of play action, waggles to his right. Throws across the middle, intended for Joel Shaw. Shaw was wide open, Freddie, but the pass behind Shaw, and that incompletion brings up 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, it's really good to see that Woodland Hills has put the waggle back into their rotation of pass plays, because last year that was a great play for Woodland Hills. Cody McClellan was able to do a lot of good things with that pass play. And so far, Jeremiah Jones has done pretty much the same with the waggle.
Pistol formation with Henderson behind Jones. Receivers to either side. Jones timing pattern, looks to his right, finds Chris David. David is tripped up inside of the 10 at the 9-yard line. The ball squirted loose, but long after David was down, it's a first down for the Wolverines. Pickup of 13 on the pass from Jones to David.
Yeah, and Woodland Hills has actually been successful with the 3-step post as well. The wide receiver just takes 3 steps, cuts in towards the middle of the field, and Paul Jones, wanting to call him Paul Jones. I know that's his brother. Jeremiah Jones has done a great job, a timing pattern of just delivering the ball right in between the numbers of any receiver today.
How do you think I feel? I'm the public address announcer at Robert Morris University, where Paul Jones is the quarterback. And Jeremiah getting the start today for Woodland Hills. Nigel Henderson, the ball carrier, bouncing to the outside and into the end zone. He will go for that 8-yard Woodland Hills TD.
Nigel Henderson.
Great job of Nigel Henderson of just being a little patient with his
touchdown.
blockers. Picked up some nice blocking by the wide receiver on that side. And then once he saw the blue turf of Canon-Mac, he just found pretty much the edge of it right by the power line and got himself into the end zone.
And on will come Donald Cassidy to attempt the PAT. 4th touchdown of the game by Woodland Hills, 4th different Wolverine to score. Snap a little high. The hold is down by David. The kick is up by Cassidy, and with 2:10 to play in the third quarter, the scoreboard reads Woodland Hills 28 and Canon-Mac 0. You're tuned into the Wolverines of the Big Macs on the Woodland Hills Football Network. And we welcome you back to Memorial Stadium in Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania. Woodland Hills on top of Canon-McMillan 28-0. An impressive 55-yard scoring drive for the Wolverines, capped off by an 8-yard touchdown run by Nigel Henderson. A little bit of the air, a little bit of the ground game, Freddie.
Yeah, they're just doing a great job of mixing in the pass and the run. And Nigel Henderson is doing a great job filling in for Miles Sanders in the second half.
On the 40.
If you're just joining us, it was Miles Sanders checking out after an 11-yard carry 2 drives ago for the Wolverines. He had a little hitch in his giddy-up, and with a 28-point lead, I don't imagine that we'll see much of Miles Sanders. As this game progresses, Miles Sanders 117 yards today. You combine that with 869, and Miles Sanders up near 985 yards. On the return for Picnic, or for Canon-Mac is Picnic, and Picnic will be brought down at the 30-yard line.
Maybe the 30-yard line.
Kyra McLean amongst others in on the tackle for Woodland Hills. Devin Nixon also on the stop for the Wolverines. 2:01 to play in the third frame. Canon-Mac with the football at their own 30. Looking forward for Woodland Hills. Last home game of the regular season next week against Peters Township. Kickoff at 7:30. Our coverage starts at 7:10 p.m. Wing T formation. The ball carrier coming from right to left is Connor Shadish, and Shadish is brought down after a pickup of 2. And a gain of 1 makes it 2nd and 9.
Yeah, the most impressive thing I've seen so far of this Woodland Hills defense is just their ability to get to the ball. These guys are flying around. At any point during the play, they're just, you'll see 4 or 5 bodies around the ball, and they're just making clean tackles. And they're just doing a fantastic job tonight.
I think the Wolverine defense had a lot of workouts this week after allowing 21 points to Baldwin a week ago. Broken play, the Wolverines sniff it out, and James Eggleston manhandles Alec Hutchin and brings him back to the 23-yard line. Actually, James Eggleston slammed him back at the 18, but they'll say the forward progress was finally stopped at the 23. Still a loss of 7 on the play.
Yeah, once James Eggleston gets those big paws around you, it's kind of hard to get away from him. I mean, he just has so much freakish strength. When he's dealing with tacklers, dealing with ball carriers, dealing with blockers, he just can get around, through, and by anybody that they put against him.
Clock winding, under a minute to play in the third quarter. Woodland Hills on top, 28-0. Hutchins steps under center, and movement along both fronts. And the officials were conferred to see who moved first. Wolverines point to the blue jerseys, and no protests thus far from Canon-Mac.
Dead ball. False start.
And we'll go against Canon-Mac.
Penalty. Repeat, third down.
Let's see. Okay, they are going to march the penalty against Canon-Mac this time. If you're just joining us, in the first half, an illegal procedure penalty against Canon-Mac, and the officials marched the ball 5 yards in favor of the Big Macs. They charged Woodland Hills with 5 yards on a penalty that was by Canon-Mac.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
That was a first. Clock winding down towards 15 seconds to go in the third quarter. Woodland Hills on top, 28-0. Hard count. And the handoff will go to the wingman from the left-hand side. It's Picnic, the ball carrier, and he'll carry the ball from the 18 to the 22. A pickup of 4, and that's the final play of the third quarter. With the score, 28-0, Woodland Hills on top of Canon-Mac. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Big Macs on MSA Sports and the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Bring you our final 12.
Wolverines with a 28-point lead on the Canon-Mac Big Macs. Adam Gusky, Fred Kai on the call for you all across the Woodland Hills Football Network. on the radio on AM 1550 WZUM, on television on Monroeville and Penn Hills Comcast and Verizon Fios. Punted away. Jacob Martin will boot it away. Art Tompkins catches it at his own 41. Inside of Big Mac territory. He's on the run to the 40-yard line along that far boundary. I'll actually say it's Art Tompkins stepping out along that far side at the 41-yard line. So a pickup of 18 yards on that return by Art Tompkins. And Art Tompkins having himself a whale of a football game in the absence of Harry Randall.
Yeah, Canon-Mac, their punter has done a great job, but the bad thing that he's doing is he's out kicking his coverage, which is giving Art Tompkins plenty of room to set up, get himself underneath the ball, survey the field, and make some nice returns.
Counterplay. Nigel Henderson met in the backfield. Still on his feet, and they will blow the play dead at the 49-yard line, and they're going to give the ball to the Canon-Mac Big Macs. The whistle blew. And I guess they're going to say that the ball was ripped away from Nigel Henderson, and then Alex David Paulina pulled the ball away, where it'll be first down and 10 for Canon-Mac, and that's the third turnover here in the second half, Fred, by Woodland Hills.
Yeah, it's been a little sloppy in terms of protecting the ball. Art Tompkins with a fumble, Nigel Henderson with a fumble. Jeremiah Jones with the interception, and then, Canon-Mac getting the kickoff return back on their half of the field. It's just been a little sloppy for Woodland Hills offensively right now.
Hutchin retreating. He'll be wrapped. He'll be sacked. Jordan Lee brings Hutchin down at the 30-yard line.
Jordan Lee with the sack.
Why are they spotting that ball at the 32? I mean, I know it's only a matter of 2 yards, but Jordan Lee brought Hutchin down at the 30. This should be a loss to the 30, not a loss to the 32. Either way, a loss of 17, and it's second down and 27.
Good job of Jordan Lee of just being persistent as he was trying to get to Hutchin. Hutchin was running away from him, and Hutchin's not a slow kid by any means, but Jordan Lee just did a great job of pursuing him and getting a nice tackle, a great sack for Woodland Hills right now.
Hutchin in the shotgun, looks to his left. They're going to run the flea flicker. And the offensive lineman taking the flea flicker. That's Alec Rideout, who's undercut along the near sideline at the 41-yard line. So the initial reception by Logan Higgum. So you give Higgum a reception of, let's say, 7 yards to the 38. And then you'll give the ball carrier Rideout a rush of 4 yards to the 42.
I didn't know I was watching him. I didn't know we were watching Varsity Blues on this last play. It's very rare that you see a hook and ladder with a offensive lineman. Usually it's done by 2 wide receivers, but good job of executing that play for Canon-Mac.
Pass to the far sideline is incomplete. Hutchins' pass intended for Tanner Picnic is incomplete. And the punt unit comes on as it's fourth down and about 17.
With all the miscues that Woodland Hills has had in the second half, defensively they've just done a great job of making sure that that's all that they're going to get in terms of yardage, points. They're not giving up anything right now.
A timeout is called by Canon-Mac. No, the Wolverines will take the timeout, and that'll give us an opportunity to take one, too. 10:39 to go here in the fourth quarter. Woodland Hills on top 28-0. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Big Macs on the Woodland Hills Football Network. 28-0, Woodland Hills on top of Canon-Mac. The Big Macs looking to punt it away on fourth down and about 16. Art Tompkins catches at his own 19, eludes one tackler. Still on his feet across the 30. Flag is down as Tompkins is off to the races. Inside of the 50, still on his feet, inside of the 40, and brought down at the 38-yard line. A flag way back at the 22-yard line may negate a nice return by Art Tompkins. But Art Tompkins continues to impress in the kick return game. And Fred, I won't be at all surprised if we see Art Tompkins returning punts even when Harry Randall returns to the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Harry Randall being a quarterback, being as valuable as he is, Art Tompkins showed that he's
Block in the back by the returning team.
has been a great replacement for Harry Randall in the special teams.
So it's an illegal block at the back against Woodland Hills, and they'll mark it from the 22-yard line, negating which was a beautiful run, to say the least, by Art Tompkins. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Spot of the foul was right around the 21-yard line.
Block in the back during the return. First down.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Woodland Hills. And they'll actually push the ball back towards the 10-yard line. On the mark just inside the 11. Nose of the ball at the 11. 1st and 10 from that spot. Woodland Hills 89 yards away from pay dirt. Scored 28-0 Woodland Hills on top of Canon-Mac, and this is kind of a surprising score after the way this football game started, with Woodland Hills scoring on their first 3 possessions.
Yeah, just sloppy play in the second half, a couple turnovers, and then that hasn't really done anything well for Woodland Hills right now.
Handoff will go to Art Tompkins at the tailback spot, and there goes Art Tompkins down the far sideline. 40, 50, 40, cutting it back, 30, 25, still on his feet, 20, 15, 10, still on his feet to the 5, and he will go end over end at the 2-yard line. Art Tompkins with a big run down to the 2.
It's really funny. It looks like Art Tompkins might have ran out of gas on that last play. He just did a great job of, getting through and getting past, past, around any Canon-Mac defender. The last person, I believe, was Camp that had a chance to bring him down. Art Tompkins made a nice move at around the 30-yard line to cut it across the field, but Camp, basically beat him to the point, which was the pylon of the end zone, and made a nice tackle, a touchdown-saving tackle.
87-yard carry for Art Tompkins. 107 yards in total for Art Tompkins to go along with some great kick returns and a 46 yards in receptions. Handoff, Joel Shaw into the end zone for the 2-yard touchdown. And with 9:35 to play in the fourth quarter, it's Woodland Hills 34 and Canon-Mac 0.
Yeah, when you're 2 yards from pay dirt, you have a 240-pound running back, you might as well just give it to him and see what happens. See what kind of bodies lie in his wake after he gets through, because it's very hard to stop him once he gets moving.
5th different Wolverine to score today in Joel Shaw. Good snap, good hold, kick up by Cassidy. Hits off the left upright and no good. And some disappointment because the modified timekeeping system will not be instituted, with the Wolverines holding just a 34-point advantage. Again, it's 34-0. Woodland Hills on top of Canon-Mac. You're tuning into the Wolverines and the Big Macs on MSA Sports and the Woodland Hills Football Network. And we welcome you back to Memorial Stadium in Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania. Adam Gusky, Fred Guy on the call for you. Woodland Hills on top, 34-0 over the Canon-Mac Big Macs. 2-yard touchdown run by Joel Shaw, the 5th Wolverine to score today, but that was set up by an 87-yard run by Art Tompkins from the Wolverines 11 down to the Canon-Mac 2-yard line. And basically Tompkins ran out of steam as one of the Big Macs did a great job picking up a pursuit angle to try to prevent Tompkins from scoring. And as Tompkins ran across the field, he probably ran 120 yards or so before finally being tackled in total. But unfortunately, Tompkins couldn't get into the end zone for the second time today. Instead, Shaw got his first TD. Missed XP, though, by Donald Cassidy, and it's a 34-point advantage. Cassidy, though, boots this one down to the 4-yard line, where it'll be returned by Canon-McMillan. And that's Picnic on the return. And he will be brought down at the 25-yard line. Akira McLean on the tackle for Woodland Hills. And it's 1st and 10 for the Big Macs at the 25-yard line. I'm running out of room on the drive summary. A lot of that has to do with the fact that Woodland Hills has turned the ball over 3 times here in the second half, Red.
Yeah, and that's really a shame, because the first half was an absolute flawless effort by Woodland Hills. A couple penalties that really didn't mean much, but in terms of execution, they did a great job at pass, run. finding open receivers and making some great plays in the first half. The second half, really sloppy playing that I've seen so far by this Woodland Hills team.
Pitch will go to Tanner Picnic on the motion. And Picnic is brought down as he picks up 2 to the 27-yard line. Second down and 8 for the Big Macs. 16 yards rushing today for Picnic on 6 carries. Wing T formation. Hutchin is the quarterback. And the handoff will go to the tailback in the formation.
And off to the first man through, Tyler Maseko.
And Tyler Maseko is the ball carrier. Maseko, 5'7" senior fullback. And a 1-yard pickup on that play from Maseko.
It looks like Woodland Hills is sparingly using some substitutes throughout their defense. But even still, right now, they're just playing one heck of a game to hold Canon-Mac to as little yardage as they have, and they've kept them out of the end zone.
Wing T, handoff will come to the man going from right to left. The ball squirted loose. Connor Shadish will be brought down, and the tackle will be credited to Diamond Johnson. Johnson on the tackle. Had the fumble recovery as well, but they said it was not a fumble, just a 1-yard loss for Shadish. And again, the Big Macs will boot it away. This time it's Jordan Smith punting it away. Woodland Hills didn't send anybody back deep, and the Big Macs will down it at the Woodland Hills 44-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 for the white and turquoise.
Yeah, that's the first actually bad punt. Well, I would say that's the worst punt he's had today, because normally he's been booming them down the field, and without Woodland Hills sending anybody back, he probably could have laid into one and then pinned Woodland Hills deep into their own territory.
Well, that was actually Jordan Smith who punted that one away, the starting quarterback. I don't believe that was Jacob Martin, who had been punting. And Woodland Hills takes the timeout, and we will too, with 7:32 to play in the fourth quarter. It is Woodland Hills 34 and Canon-Mac 0. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Big Macs on the Woodland Hills Football Network. 34-0 Woodland Hills on top of Canon-Mac. The Wolverines bring out an entire new troop of offensive players. The quarterback is Jonte Morin Miles. And he will hand off to Kevin Wilson. And Wilson picks up 2 yards to the 46-yard line, where it'll be first down, or second down and 8.
We're really looking into the roster on this one. Woodland Hills, I mean, they're just getting some of these younger guys some playing time right now when they're up 34 points in the fourth quarter. They just got to get some guys some work. Even though these guys have a game tomorrow morning down at the Wolverina, still might as well get them some work.
Quite frankly, Fred, this score, 34-0, not indicative of the way this game is played. Remember, Woodland Hills drove the ball inside of Canon-Mac's red zone 3 times and came away with 2 missed field goals and a turnover on downs in the first half as well. Ball carrier again, Kevin Wilson, and he is met a yard deep in the line in the backfield. Loss of 1 brings up third down and 9.
Yeah, but you know how that, I mean, when you see the paper tomorrow morning, you're going to see 34 or whatever if Canon-Mac can get themselves on the board in the second half. But no one's going to really read this stat sheet. They'll say that, Miles Sanders had X amount of yards or Tompkins had X amount of yards. But, I mean, what was really going to go unmissed, or actually is going to go missed in all of this, is the defense of effort that Woodland Hills has made today.
Snap a little high off of play action, goes Morin Miles. He'll run to his left. He'll find an open receiver. That receiver is Asan Ghanem, and Ghanem is brought down at the 35-yard line. And the Wolverines with a nice pickup there to the 34-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 for the white and turquoise.
Again, Woodland Hills just running the waggle to the left. Ghanem, I think he came out of his tight end position and just did a drag route across the field, found himself wide open. Morin Miles did a great job of hitting him in stride, and Ghanem picked up a nice gain. on that waggle pass.
First time we've seen Hassan Ghanem on offense this season. He's played some defense for the Wolverines. Snap a little high. Warren Miles gathers it in. He'll hand off to Peyton Hicks, and Hicks will drive his way forward to the 30-yard line and pick up 4 yards on the play. And it is second down and 6. Clock winding under 5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Woodland Hills on top, 34-zip.
And I'm looking at the offensive line, and you got Eric Mitchell in there, 6'3", 303-pound sophomore. Terrell Gray, 6'1", 261-pound sophomore. I mean, these guys are really massive at such a young age, and you get these guys some experience. Who knows what's going to happen in terms of offensive linemen for Woodland over the next 3 years.
Don't forget about Stephen Rickard in there at center, 6'5", 226. And if he fills out, it's going to be another biggie across that front line. And, of course, Jake Cassidy right now at left tackle. Cassidy, a part-time starter for the Wolverines.
Shall we call Rickard the runt of the litter?
Yeah, at just 6 feet and 300 pounds, he is not the tallest of them all, that's for sure. But probably of the 5 guys that are out there, the most talented, at least at this point, as he has seen significant action at the varsity level. Quarterback, Warren Miles, with a gain of 2 yards there to the 27-yard line. And it's third down and 2. Pistol formation, 2 receivers to the right of the formation. Ghana motions from right to left. Handoff will go to the second man through, Kevin Wilson, and Wilson will be met near the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1. It'll be fourth down. And short fourth down and 1 for the Wolverines with the ball at the 26.
Doesn't look like Coach Novak's going to bring the field goal unit on. He's going to stay with his second-team offense right now.
Big play for the second-team offense with 3:40 to go. This could sustain a drive that could end the football game for the Wolverines. 4th and 1. Warren Miles in the pistol. High snap. Handoff will go to Kevin Wilson. Wilson driving his way forward, close to first down yardage. And a little extracurriculars going on after the play between a Big Mac and a Wolverine.
I think he might be short.
And they will say that Wilson got just to the 25. He needed to cross the 25 to get the first down. So it'll be a turnover on down for the Wolverines, and Canon-Mac will have it. First down and 10 at their own 25, and that's the second time today Woodland Hills turns it over on downs inside of the Canon-Mac 30. Big Macs with the football. 3:24 to go in the fourth quarter. Again, they have the ball at their own 25. A lot of the first teamers out there for Canon-Mac, including the ball carrier, Connor Shadish. And Shadish is brought down after a gain of 1. Tackle on the play by Diamond Johnson. Johnson, who has made 4 out of the last 5 tackles for Woodland Hills, making his presence known.
And a good bit of the defense for Woodland Hills is second teamers, second or third teamers for all we know. But they did a great job of sniffing that last play out from Canon-McMillan. I thought it was going to, get some, better yardage than what they did, but the young guys just sniffed it out.
Kevin Solomon, the only starter out there that I can see.
Tyler Maseko on the carry.
Maseko, the ball carrier for Canon-Mac, and he will pick up just about a yard.
Johnson makes the stop.
Maseko, his second carry of the game. 2 carries, 2 yards. And clock winding down to 2:25 to go in the fourth quarter. Woodland Hills on top 34-0. With the score the way it is, you have to assume Woodland Hills will now be 5-2 on the year, more importantly 5-1 in the SEC. Now Upper St. Clair was leading Bethel Park, which puts Woodland Hills in even better shape to host a playoff game in the WPIAL playoffs. Running to his right and being brought down, Alec Hutchin. Hutchin tracked down by Hassan Ghanem. Excuse me, that was Trevon Bryan, at least according to the public address announcer. here at Memorial Stadium. No gain on the rush there for Hutchin, and he still has minus 42 yards on the ground. Big Mac's punted away. This time Jordan Smith gets a better foot underneath it, and it will continue to roll deeper and deeper into Woodland Hills territory before being downed at the 31-yard line. And with 1:23 to play here, Canon-Mac has 3 timeouts. I don't think they're going to use them. And Woodland Hills can wind the clock and win this football game and improve, again, Fred, to a very impressive 5-2, and more importantly, 5-1 in the SEC. And that's really good after an 0-2 start overall and an 0-1 start in the conference.
Yeah, and Upper St. Clair hasn't really had any issues with any of their opponents since Woodland Hills. So, they need to rethink that once the playoffs start. But Woodland Hills has just done a great job after going 0-2 of just rebounding and getting the ship right.
Warren Miles on a broken play will be spun down 4 yards deep in the blackfield.
Adam, as I'm going over the roster for Woodland Hills right now, and of the 80-some players that they have right now, 12 of them are sophomores. 12 of them are seniors. There's some valuable seniors in there, but as I'm looking through the underclassmen and what they've done for this team this year, it's going to be really exciting to watch Woodland Hills football over the next couple years.
Trips to the right of the formation. Warren Miles hands the football off. Peyton Hicks, the ball carrier, and Hicks will be brought down
ends up with Peyton Hicks.
at the line of scrimmage. No gain for Peyton Hicks. And the play clock has not wound yet, and there is 20 seconds on the game clock, and Woodland Hills will likely not run a play, and the Wolverines will move to a very impressive 5-2 on the year and 5-1 in Southeastern Conference play. And the Wolverines have won the past 4 football games by a very comfortable margin, Fred.
Yeah, they're just doing a great job defensively. After the shell shock that was the McKeesport Tigers letting up 33 points, and how McKeesport scored those 33 points, Woodland Hills has done a complete 180 since that game. The competition hasn't been as fierce as McKeesport or as Upper St. Clair, but even still, when you're holding teams to 0 points, 10 points a game, whatever the case may be, and you're shutting down their offense as they're trying to run it, defensively right now, Woodland Hills is probably playing their best football.
Again, your final score, Woodland Hills shuts out the Canon-Mac Big Macs in Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania, 34-0. Woodland Hills is now 5-2 on the year, 5-1 in Southeastern Conference play. Folks, on the television side, we've got to thank our television crew, including our camera operator today, Lee Schaefer III, our producer and director for today, Lee Schaefer Jr., our still photographer. Also helping out on the technical side today is Joseph Slick. And my broadcast partner, Fred Guy. I'm Adam Gusky. Folks, on the TV side, we'll talk to you again next week from the Wolverina. Kickoff at 7:30 against the Peters Township Indians. And our coverage, as always, starts at 7:10 p.m. On the radio side, we'll be right back with the State Senator Jay Costa post-game show. Again, your final, Woodland Hills on top of Canon-Mac, 34-0. You've been tuned in to the Wolverines and the Big Macs on the Woodland Hills Football Network.